Hello everyone, it's Peyton for Peyton Reads, and yes, this is me uploading a new video. Can you even believe it? I can barely believe it. What am I doing here? I don't really know. I just moved back into my house after 2 long semesters doing my thing at school. I have 1 semester left until I graduate from college, which is kind of wild thinking about how I started this channel in middle school. And I feel really bad that I have been neglecting it as I have. I'm sorry if I'm bothering you with this little mini microphone. My big camera with the nice little mic that connects to it is dead because I just wasn't planning on making this video. I work at Barnes & Noble now. I feel like that's very fitting for me. So you need book recommendations. I mean, I already was given them, but now I given them even more, I guess. It's kind of full circle to work at Barnes & Noble finally. Like, I've wanted to work there since I was a little kid, and now I'm working there, so I'm living my little life dream, and I'm a happy child. I also see, like, what everyone's buying, and then it makes me curious. Like, what is this? Why is everyone buying this? Is it because TikTok mentioned it, like, 500 times? Probably. But a lot of people are, like, starting to read because of TikTok, so I have to appreciate it in some way or form. So, hello, I'm starting a new vlog because I feel like sit-down videos are just, like, not hitting the same. Like, where are they? I don't know. I'm not acting like I've been really active with BookTube and watching people's videos, but I feel like people are really hungry for reading vlogs and things like that, and I personally like to make those, and me trying to return to YouTube is a trial and error thing. Like, literally, I have lost so many subscribers. So if you are kind, give me a like and a follow. Like, I would appreciate it. Yeah, like, I kind of died, but for my mental sanity, I think it was a good thing, and I'm happy to be back and maybe just talk about some books I'm reading and not really make it much more than that. Like, this is purely something that's supposed to be a hobby for me. It always was supposed to be a hobby, and then I feel like I just got really swept up in, like, the numbers and everything, and, like, while I don't love that I've lost, like, 1,000 subscribers or whatever, I kind of just want to take the power back and enjoy my little hobby again. So I am in a big reading mood. I just finished my semester, so I'm ready to read as much as I can this summer before I have to start my final semester of school. And, you know, I work in a bookstore, so, like, it's really hitting harder than ever before that I want to read. And I'm currently reading 2 books and a third one that's an audiobook, but honestly, I might DNF it because why do I hate that book so much? And I bought a book today after work I want to share. But my current read is Happy Place by Emily Henry. This book is one I was very much anticipating. While I was not posting on YouTube, I did read, like, all of Emily Henry's books and, well, all of her adult romances. I know she has, like, 2 YAs, which I am interested in reading. I just haven't gotten to it. And I binged all 3 of her books in a time when I wasn't really reading a lot. So it was just really, like, I realized that, like, oh, something about this author's writing style is really good. And I feel like a basic bitch, like, being a fan, but, like, I think sometimes the hype is right, and she just really fleshes out her characters so deeply that it really makes you care about the romance. I find a lot of times recently that I have a hard time finding books with romances that, like, I actually care about, that I'm actually, like, screaming and crying every time any weird interaction happens. But these books reminded me that there is still a way for me to feel these things. I just haven't come across it as often since I have read so much. So this book is a second chance romance type of book about 2 characters who have been dating, like, almost 10 years. They're engaged at this point, but this past summer, like, they kind of broke up or whatever. And they have a big group of friends. They all went to college together, and every summer they go on a big trip together in this little beach house, I guess. They end up both going to the beach house and faking their relationship because they haven't broken the news that they're broken up, and they kind of feel bad. Like, they just don't know how to do it. So they're faking their relationship for 1 more week so they can have 1 more really nice vacation with all of their friends. And it's so far really complicated. I mean, I would say that's complicated. I'm on page 110. I got these really cute tabs that I'm going to be tapping it with. I love them. Yeah, not that far into it. I started this, like, during my last week of this semester. So I want to really dive in, and like that's going to be the main focus of this vlog, is me finishing this book, because I know I'm going to love it. Like, I haven't gotten far enough to be fully invested with these characters yet, but some of the dynamics so far are fun. But like, as of now, I don't really know. Like, I gotta see. I've seen a lot of people say like, this is the best one yet. Like, do I feel that way yet? No. So I'm curious to see where this one takes me, and I really am excited. I hate that it's a hardcover when all the other ones are paperbacks, and I feel offended. The book that I bought today after work was so exciting. I have a whole story about it, but like, this book is so pretty, and I just have to talk about it. I've been seeing people buying this book, Raven reviews, like, it just came out, like, people are already freaking out about it. And you know, I am such a bitch for the hype. Like, I'm always buying the books that are really hyped up, and I try to keep with the times, I guess. I don't know. But Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This is a dragon fantasy. I think there's a rivals to lovers, like enemies to lovers. I know there's a school learning how to ride these dragons. I don't know that much, but like, I've heard it was compared to like Sergio Mass Energy, and like, I have been a bitch for her since middle school, so I can't deny it. I can't deny it. The accusations are here. But I wanted this so bad, because look at these sprayed edges with the dragons. Like, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Like, the detail, it's just exquisite. And for people to be really raving about this book, like saying like it's really living up for the hype, guys, like, I just want to give it a try. And I do have a Barnes & Noble discount now, so like, this, it just happened. And the story today about me getting this book is, there was this girl looking for this book in Barnes & Noble today, and like, it was a whole big deal. Like, we were all trying to find it. I was just at the cash register, like, listening. I was listening in on the chaos. But there was only one final copy left in the store, and no one could find it. I got off work and I found it. I vaguely remembered while I was checking out that someone promised that girl that we would put it on hold for her if we found it. And I was no longer an employee in that moment when I found it. I wasn't trying to find it. So I bought it. I feel bad for that girl. Like, they said they're gonna order more, but like, oh my god, when I was purchasing it, I was like, wait, I probably like shouldn't have done this. I probably shouldn't have, but I went into work today trying to buy this. So when I heard the fiasco about this book, like, no one could find it, I was like, dang it, I wanted to find that too. So when I got off work, I did see it like a week ago, and or I don't know how long this has been out, but I saw it like one of the last times I worked. There was a book in front of it. Someone put a book on top of this book, and I knew that because I saw it the other day, and then I checked and it was there. So I feel like I deserved this win. I really wanted it, and the first printing apparently is the only ones with this. I don't know. I read it online on our website that the first printing of the book has the sprayed pages, and I didn't want to miss out, guys. I really wanted, like, I wanted this book because people are like freaking out about it and making me really want to read it, but I'm like, if I'm gonna get it, like, I need the dragon weird pages. So that's something I really want to read. I would love to be swept away by another fantasy book, and I have another fantasy book that I really want to read, and like, this log clip is so long. I'm so sorry. I've been dying to read Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn. I literally bought this release day, and I went to YALLFest in November. Oh, I found some tabs. I went to YALLFest in November, and I finally met Tracy, and she literally lives in North Carolina. Oh, she lives in North Carolina, so like, I live in North Carolina, so like, she's kind of an icon for me. Like, I love her, and I did read Legendborn during my time away from you guys, but it's one of my favorite books that I've read in a really long time, and I didn't know if I was gonna like it or not, because it's like King Arthur retellings, and like, I don't really like King Arthur like that, but oh my god, like, she just writes these characters so freaking well. And I'm not gonna really dive into what this book is about right now, because why is this clip so long? But it is a urban fantasy King Arthur twist in UNC Chapel Hill, which is a college near me. The character dynamics are just insane, and I just really like, she fleshed them out so well. Like, it just made me care so deeply, and this is the next one, and I'm so excited to read it. I feel like I'm gonna be obsessed with it, so I've been dying to read this. Now I finally have the time, so it's gonna get done. I'm also reading a ebook right now. I've been reading a lot of like Kindle Unlimited, because I really like to read in the dark. I've noticed, like, it's just fun when I'm trying to sleep well, when I'm about to go to sleep. Reading in the dark is great. So I'm reading the third book in, it's this booktuber, though I guess she's an author tuber now, but like I was subscribed to her and then her video just popped up and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna read her books. This one is the third book in this witch vampire series that she wrote. It's called The Marionettes. That's the first one, and the one I'm on is Bloodless Ties. It's the third one, and I've been reading the series pretty quickly, and the fourth one's coming out later this year, so I love a good vampire romance type of book. And I'm loving the vibes, so it's been really fun to fly through. I read really fast on my Kindle for some reason, and I enjoy reading on my Kindle. That is what I'm going to be working on during this vlog. I did see Taylor Swift in concert for the Eras Tour, and it was in Atlanta, and then yesterday she was in Nashville and announced Speak Now. I'm thrilled. I'm having a good time. The only thing ruining my life right now is I have to unpack my life at my house. Hi everyone. I know I look ugly right now, and I don't want to talk about that specifically, but I think it's like 2 a.m. I have finished Happy Place. Yesterday, when you saw me reading with that aesthetic little record player and everything, I read up to half of Happy Place by Emily Henry, and I spent the rest of my day, I was unpacking most of my day. You can see I got some more Funko Pops laying out. My night, I spent reading the rest of Happy Place. Dear Lord, does this book not put you in a happy place? Like, this is a brightly colored book with a happy little name, and wow, does it destroy you. This book attacked me on levels that I can't even fully express to you because it's a little bit too personal. I don't know what happened here. It just feels like Emily Henry, like, personally looked into my life experiences and said, okay, let's write you something. Let's work through this. Like, this one definitely is different than the other 3 books. While I think all 3 of her adult romances are very, like, a lot more complex than they look, like, just from looking at the cover. There's nothing wrong with a nice fluffy romance that doesn't have a lot else to it. I love to enjoy my life sometimes and read things like that. But I really like her books because there's just the added complexities, the layers. She really drives home some dark themes with these characters sometimes. Well, not sometimes, she always does. Like, she makes them feel so real, like real people going through real problems that a lot of us experience, and it hurts because you see the way that these things affect the relationships, the cute romances that we're rooting for, and how, like, just real life can really be the reason that things are not working out. Like, it has nothing to do with the love for each other. It's just real life problems. I don't want to spoil the book. Like, I definitely don't want to ruin the book for people because, like, there is some things that were connected to me that aren't in the description. So it's like, that is a spoiler in my opinion. Like, if it's not in the description, I mean, I wasn't expecting it. I wish I could kind of delve into that a little bit more because that personally is something that I'm going through right now. Like, I am going through this thing with my current partner right now. It's crazy to just see, like, feelings that you feel. And this is not saying me and him are having a problem. Like, no, that's not what that is. I just wish I could tell you, like, what this specific element is. There's just things that have happened in life recently that have sucked. And it's like, you have to grow and learn how to deal with that with your partner. It's like something that they had to learn and grow and deal with. And it's just something, it's a part of life. It happens to everyone eventually. But, I mean, I'm being so vague. But if you read the book, you might be able to understand what I'm talking about. But everyone goes through this eventually. It's something that you hope doesn't happen to you soon in life, but like you can't help it. And seeing like a couple deal with something like that and how it can be so like upsetting on both sides, like it's just, yeah, like it's very crazy to read a book about this when like this is a very recent thing that's going on in my life. So to see a book establishing these themes when I haven't really read something establishing these themes really before, I feel like I read it at the right time. Like I kind of needed a little hug from a book that just said, hey, I get what you're feeling, like this is rough, these things that you're going through, but like there is like it's not the end of the story. Like it's not the end of the story for anyone. It's just life throws curveballs and you have to go through them sometimes, and it can really be horrible. You're always gonna get through it. There's other elements like, just the initial breakup, the big betrayal, like any breakup is like super upsetting. So this is in the description, this part of it. The breakup, like, it reminded me of my breakup. So for me, this book was weird because the other books, like, I don't really know anything about these characters. Like, they all loved each other. Like, there wasn't any, we need to redeem ourselves, because the other ones were like, oh, like, if they had some snarky stuff with each other, like, it wasn't ever serious problems. Like, Beach Read, they just had a weird college rivalry. It wasn't a legit problem. But, like, with this, like, they've been together for almost 10 years, and for him to just disappear on her, like, that is so painful. That is so painful. So I could kind of relate to that because I know how it feels to be abandoned. And it's just like, how do you forgive and forget something like that? It's horrible. And now my camera like trying to die when I'm doing this, so I'm gonna keep filming as long as I can, and we'll see if it cuts me off. It's so eloquent the way that this book talks about love and the years upon years of love that you experience with various people. It's the friendships in this book, the way friendships are explored. She has 2 really amazing friends and then a couple more friends, but like the 2 were like the ride or dies from the beginning. And seeing like the way that love changes for them over the 10 years that they've been friends is just amazing. And then seeing the family, like her family, her experiences with her family are not picture perfect, and like I was feeling vibes with that too. Like there was a lot to relate to here, and like I just saw myself so much in this book, and I don't know if everyone's gonna feel the same way because they might not relate to it as weirdly as I did. I wasn't even knowing if I was liking this book that much when I first started it, because you're going in for a romance, you're thinking you're gonna really think these characters are cute, but like this was a war. Like Win had to win, that's his name. Win had to win me over. Like I was mad at him from the start. Page 1, we know that he like broke her heart and soul in such like a horrible way. So I'm like, I don't trust you. Like that's not something you get over easily. And like we really dove into it, and somehow he has won me over. I don't know how I let this man do this to me. I feel embarrassed. I was complaining about it to my friend today. Like, this man, he did this terrible thing. I don't know how I'm ever gonna forgive him. But somehow I reached the end of the book, and it just touched me in so many ways. And I just deeply understand both of these characters, Harriet and Win. They both are so flawed. So many decisions were made. So many things led to the breakup. And like, we get the past and the present in this book, and you just really see how everything developed. And I just thought it was exquisite. Like, it was just so well done. And like, I really wasn't even knowing if I wasn't enjoying this one as much, because this book was a painful process. I'm really going on a rant, but like, this was a painful process to read this book. It was not a happy place. It was like, you had to work with these characters and realize like, oh, they made me mad, but like, I'm understanding and seeing like where this came from and the flaws and everything that they had, the worries that they had in their relationship, things that I personally have felt in relationships. Like, I just feel so attacked by this book. And I also feel attacked because Taylor sang Would've, Could've, Should've tonight in Nashville, and I'm so mad because that's like my favorite song by her right now. Like, I love that song, and I would have killed to have heard that in Georgia when I was there. but I'm just grateful I was there. I was there for something. I could just go on a rant for this for a while. Like, I wrote a Goodreads review for this book, and I wasn't even thinking I was enjoying this book that much, but something changed. Like, I was struck in a way. I started tearing up, and I connect with this book deeply. Will this be something that I can just reread for funsies all the time? I don't know, because this is really way deeper than I expected. And like, I expected her to dive in deep with these characters, but I didn't think it was going to be stuff that I personally felt attacked by and that I'm currently experiencing or currently experienced in the past couple years. I feel hurt, but I really love this book. Like, it's like the books that just hurt you in a way that wasn't enjoyable sometimes, but you just know it spoke to you. So it really spoke to me, and I loved how everything played out. I thought it was beautiful. And I just talked about this for 10 minutes. I'm so sorry. Thank you. I don't know what that was. Hello everyone. It's been a couple days. I have been working, reading, trying to survive. You know, that's how I live. That's how I do. I don't know what I'm saying. I have made it to the halfway point of Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and I thought it was about time that I finally update on my feelings on this book, because I'm really loving this book. I wasn't sure if I was going to, like, actually really love this book, because, I don't know, it's just been getting so hyped up. It just was released, and everyone's been loving it from what I've been seeing online, and I was just like, this is too good to be true. Like, I can't be loving a book. That's just too happy. Like, I can't have my life be that happy. But no, like, if you can tell, it's kind of hard to see because the black sprayed pages, but I do have quite a few tabs within here, and I'm only page 224, so I still got a little bit over halfway to go, and I feel like I've reached an arc in this book. Like, the first half kind of closed up the original journey that we were going for, like the plot of the book. I thought this was going to last the entire book. No, like, there's a lot more in store with this book that I wasn't even really expecting, and I think I've never really fully explained this book because I didn't really even know what I was getting myself into other than a hyped book. Like, let's be real. I'll try my best to explain this as eloquently as I can, but it is a fantasy universe where, you know, there's wars, and this particular area, they use dragons as their main source of weaponry. The humans, the worthy humans, bond with these dragons, and there's not enough dragons in the world to go around. So it's really a cutthroat situation of which human gets with these dragons, because a lot of humans want to be a part of this, and a lot of them don't get to be a part of this. There's just not enough space. There's not enough dragons. And these dragons are really interesting because, like, they are the top of the pyramid. They are the hierarchical power. Hierarchical, I cannot say that word, but you know what I'm saying. They're at the top of the pyramid, and they are more powerful, seen more highly than humans themselves. They are the law, these dragons. They can talk. They only talk to the people that they're bonded to, though, so you have to be real special. The main character was never planning on going into the Rider's Quadrant, which is the people that ride the dragons, bond with the dragons, and these dragons give them magical powers. The bond with them is so magical that they have powers themselves, and the dragons need the humans because they can't use their power. They need, like, a place to project the power, and then they use it together. So that's why the dragons deal with the humans and don't just eat them, you know? So the main character never thought she was going to be a part of the Rider's Quadrant, but then one day, her mom, who is, like, really high up in the dragon people, she decides she wants all of her family members to be a part of the dragon people. She was more taking after her father. He was a scribe. They're all about the libraries, writing down history, making sure everything is taken record of. And that was just a big part of her life. She is a very intelligent girl. Like, it's very evident how smart she is. And that's, like, her biggest strength, I would say. So she's thrown into this world that she never thought she was going to be a part of. And just get this, like, it's even more intense than I even can explain because it kind of has a Hunger Games feeling to it, which obviously I love Hunger Games. It's not the Hunger Games, but the competition element to this book is something I love so much. I love competition tropes. I love something so cutthroat, like everyone's dying around you, like only the fittest survive. But there's this thing in this book where the main character is disabled. I'm not sure exactly what the medical condition would be called, but she has
bone and joint problems, like they can be snapped so easily. And in this world, they do have healers, so she's able to heal herself sometimes, and she's done that throughout her life, but she just gets injured all the time. Like, it's just been a part of her life, and she's just constantly in pain. And she's also a very petite girl. She's really short, so she was just never seen as a possibility to go into the Riders Quadrant. Like, people just didn't believe in her. They thought her as a weakling, and that makes me so mad. And she's never even gotten to consider like her heritage of going into the dragon people. Like, her sister and her brother and her mother were in it, and she just never even got to envision that for herself. And while she's thrown into it and doesn't really want that path, she also is not going to die. Like, she refuses to die. And the tasks and the trials that these people are put through, like, hundreds of people go into this school, and I tell you, like, there's a very small percentage that make it. Like, people are dying constantly in this book, and like, it's brutal. Like, things constantly happening, her peers dying all around us. Like, you cannot trust anyone to survive. So for her to think that she's going to do all of this, like, they're having to fight each other constantly in mats, like, they're, you know, like, full-on weapons on top of each other, and these people are like way bigger than her, you know, like her joints and bones, like, they snap way easier than a lot of other people's do. And people are just so terrible to her and like talk down to her and act like she really is incapable. But she's not going to be told that she's incapable of something. Like, she refuses. And I really love that about this character. Like, while she wasn't planning on being in this situation, she could not stand the fact that so many people like laughed at her, taunted her, acted like she was not going to do this. Like, that gave her every drive that she was going to do this. She's going to find a way to do this. And I'm not going to spoil anything. I think that's like kind of the most of what is going on in this description, other than the fact that there is her mortal enemy who also goes to this school. He is way higher up than her. He's like a wing leader. I don't know. There's a hierarchy in the school of dragon people. So his name is Xaden Roerson, and he has a thing with, let me see what, it doesn't say exactly why they hate each other in the description, but they have a reason. It's their families, their parents have a thing against each other, and they're like mortal enemies. And he acts like he wants to kill her all the time. She acts like she wants to kill him all the time. But in a way, like, these characters keep having to talk to each other, and he has a little bit of power over her in this school because he is the wing leader and she's just the cadet. So it's constant fear, like, what's going to happen with that? Like, why is he letting me live? Like, what is going on? There's no rules here. Like, you can kill the other cadets. Like, you're just not allowed to do it when you sleep, and you're not allowed to do your own squad because there's squads, but it's free game. Like, this is the Hunger Games in this school. Like, you can take out competition for a dragon, like, do it. Like, they encourage this. They think the worthy people, like, they will make it through. So if like someone dies, like, they're like, well, they just weren't worthy of the dragons. So it's just so cutthroat. Like, I'm telling you, the action from this book just starts off immediately. It's so wild. Like, I was so stressed, like, even 20 pages in for this character. I'm like, somehow I just connected with it immediately. And I don't know, the first interaction was between her and her sister was kind of preparing her to go into this. And like, kind of, why was I feeling like Mira, her sister, was like giving Katniss energy, like, this is gonna be fine. Like, I don't know, she just felt so protective of the main character. But like, the main character herself, like, she is so intelligent, she is so strong in so many different ways, and I believe in her so hard. And I also am like kind of eaten up whatever dynamic that she has growing with Xaden. They're kind of having to start to work together a little bit, and you know, I love a good dynamic. Main character is named Violet, and his nickname for her is Violence, and I just love that. She's a package of violence because, come on, she was thrown in this crazy situation. She has to be violent. Her and her little daggers, she has to protect herself. I just thought it was it was a smart little nickname. But yeah, I really think I'm gonna be eating this up. I work tomorrow, I worked today, and yesterday I had like a huge migraine all day, so I wasn't able to make that much progress on it yesterday. But tonight, it is 8:41 at night, and I plan for the rest of my night to be reading this and see how far I can get. And I work at 11 tomorrow, so I can probably stay up a little bit late. But yeah, I probably won't update you again until I finish this, because this vlog is kind of long and I don't really know if anyone's even gonna watch this video. So But yeah, I'm really having a good time. I think it's crazy that the 2 books that I chose to read, because honestly, this vlog is getting long. After I finish this book, the video is probably over. But the 2 books that I chose to read ended up being like ones that are probably gonna be 5 stars. Happy Place was 5 stars. This one, like, I've been eating it up. Like, I've been reading it on my lunch break, and people have been buying it off of me at Barnes & Noble a lot too. Like, it's really flying off the shelves. And I mean, I hate to be that person, but like, I think the hype it's here for a reason. Like, it's for some reason just super entertaining, but also I just really care about the character and really can't stand one of the characters, because why does he not believe in her, you know? But Xaden himself, like, he's also interesting. I want to know more about him, like, because there's a lot that is been told about him, but I want to know his side of the story. Like, there's a lot of history about him, but no one really knows what he thinks. I would love to dive into that, and he has some cool powers as well, so I'm enjoying it. And like, another element, this was just a super random thing, but I minor in ASL, which is American Sign Language, and there's just this scene where she meets up with one of her old scribe friends, and they start signing to each other, and like, it's not really addressed or made a big deal of. Like, that's just, ow. They're just friends, and like, that's how they communicated with each other, and it just made sense for her character because like, she is someone who's well learned and a lot of languages, and it just would make sense that she would know another language like that. And I just thought that was really cool because I haven't really seen that in any other books, I don't think, like sign language being used. And like, my sign language is not the best in the world, but I can hold a conversation. Will it always go smoothly? No, but like, I minor in it for a reason. I have to like have some confidence in myself. Yeah, just really love that detail because the deaf community is not one that gets represented a lot, and I thought it was really cool. So yeah, I'm gonna keep reading. I'm so sorry this video is so long. If you are still watching this video, give me like a dragon emoji or a fire emoji. I don't know if there even is a dragon emoji, but give me a fire or a dragon emoji, and that will just let me know that you're still here and I'm doing this for a reason. Like, if one person gets this far, thank you. Because I'm having a good time, and I know people just don't care about my videos as much as like in the past, because like, where have I been? But like, I'm having a great time, and I'm happy that anyone is watching, so thank you so much. So I've literally finished 3 books since I've last seen you. I don't know what's going on. It hasn't even been that many days. I wanted to finish Fourth Wing before I updated the vlog again because I was like, that's the book I'm on. I feel like we can make a good conclusion once I finish Fourth Wing. And I did finish Fourth Wing. So many tabs here. I ended up giving it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It is so close to a 5 that like, honestly, I could just say it's a 5. Like, it's fine. That's what I rated it on Goodreads. But I take slightly it away because once the second half of the book started happening and like the romance started happening a bit more, I thought it was a little bit, it was reaching an area where I didn't love it as much. I didn't love it as much because it was like a slow burn romance throughout the book, but then suddenly it just like snapped and it felt like she just switched over into being obsessed with him like a little bit too fast for my liking, because these two characters, Violet and Xaden, have like a genuine reason to dislike each other. Just a lot of history and like, crazy shit has gone down between their families. Some of the lines were a bit cringe. Like, I feel like there was times where she would just tell us straight up instead of just showing it through the body language. I feel like the character was aware of her attraction to Xaden way sooner than I personally would have liked. And like, this is just a personal issue from me, that sometimes like the writing would be great and then there'd be a line at the end of the paragraph where it's like, he's so hot, like I can never deny him, like there's just no way. Like, I don't know, I just feel like while she was starting to realize her attraction for him, it would be too on the nose. And I like a good mystery. I like to see it build without the character even fully realizing it. So for her to kind of like realize it, I don't know, like I didn't want her to fully realize it. I wanted her body language and everything to react to him more than her to verbally tell us in her monologue. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's just like the first half of the book book, she really, like, yeah, she thought he was attractive the first time she saw him, but then she found out who he was, and then it got a lot more complicated than that. And they had some good banter and, like, good arguments that I enjoyed. And while I do think their banter and arguments, like, are good throughout the whole book, I will say it's just, like, there was just the shift where it seemed like she just fully gave herself to the attraction instead of still being a bit mad about everything. So while I really loved the book, I loved the world that we developed. The Dragon Magic School, I loved it. I loved the main character. I read the acknowledgments, and the author herself has a connective tissue disorder. I don't know if that's a chronic illness exactly or a disability. I don't really know what that's classified as, but it seems like that's what the main character was also experiencing throughout the book. So I thought that was really cool that we see a character dealing with this disorder in a fantasy novel. Like, that's not something that we see a lot of. And then there was that deaf friend of hers that she would communicate with sometimes, and I thought that was really cool. And I just think there was a lot of great things about this book. Like, the writing usually was really great. I thought the world building was interesting, the history of this world and all of the rivalries and problems in this world that we started to develop. I just really enjoyed it. I love the connection between the writers and the dragons and how they can communicate with each other, and how they have this, like, really deep bond that, like, no one can separate from them. Like, they can't live without each other once they are bonded. So I just really thought the whole concept of everything was really great. While I think the romance was a little bit cringe towards the end, I'm still behind the romance. Like, I clearly enjoyed what was going on here. There's a lot of pink tabs. When it's a series, I kind of like when it's more spaced out and we don't fully, like, fall in love with each other, you know? And while there is a second book that's coming out in November, I'm so excited about that because I thought I was gonna have to wait, like, so long for the sequel, and it's literally coming out this year. So I'm super excited because the book is still gonna be fresh in my mind, and I can't deny how quickly I read this book and how it was just on my mind constantly. It was such a page turner for me. Like, while I don't think it was perfect, I just think it's a special skill to be able to entertain people as well as you can with your stories and your character dynamics. So I can never deny the importance of that. I don't even think the writing was bad. It was just a couple things here and there that would make me cringe sometimes. And I feel like that's something that easily could be improved upon if she ever wanted to. Like, she might personally like things like that. So it's like, it's just like a thing. Like, you might not vibe with it as much as other people do. But I'm so excited to see where this goes. I don't know how many books in this series it will be, but there's at least a second book, and I'm so excited to continue on. I do feel like this has been living up to the hype. I've already been seeing a lot of negative reviews because every time I like something, there has to be a swarm of people hating it. So to each their own, we all have our own opinion. Let's not tear each other down unless it's, like, harming someone. And I don't think this book is harming anyone. So I think it's a good time, and I recommend y'all try to pick it up. Throughout reading Fourth Wing, I did listen to an audiobook. I randomly picked up Carvel by Stephanie Garber. I had read this when it came out in, like, 2017, and I loved it when I first read it. I gave it a 5 stars. I was in high school, and I really wanted to reread this because I never finished the trilogy. There is a third book that I never read. I read the first 2, and now she has a whole other series, Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I have not been able to read them because apparently they are a little bit connected to this world. So I was like, okay, I will reread them and listen to them because these are really fast-paced books. It's about, like, a mysterious carnival sort of thing every year, and the main character really wants to be invited, and it's magical, and everything's a game, and her sister is missing, so she wants to win the game so she can wish her sister back. Like, she wants to find her. So it's kind of stupid. Like, the romance is kind of stupid, but this book is fun, and it's a good time to just sit back and listen to. So I listened to this over a couple days. I gave it a 3 stars. Wasn't as good as the first time I read it, but I'm not mad about it, and I'm currently listening to Legendary, the sequel, so yay for that. And then I finished my ebook. I've been listening to Bloodless Ties by Katie Wismer, and I gave that a 3 stars. I just finished it up last night after I finished up Fourth Wing. I finished 2 books in one day. I love that for me. While I enjoyed it, I don't think it was as good as the first 2 books. The first book I gave a 3 stars. Second book I gave 4 stars. I thought it was really onto something. And the third one, I feel like everything that we've been building up with the plot, it kind of just took a halt. And I just don't know if I loved the direction that we went with this because I don't feel like a lot happened. A lot just felt really random and thrown in there. And, you know, I think the series is really fun to read, but it's not my favorite in the whole world. But I will be continuing with the 4th one because the 4th one is coming out later this year, and I've had a good time. It's not my favorite thing in the entire world, but I think the world, the vampire or witchy world, is a fun time. and that's what I'm here for, and I've been reading it on Kindle Unlimited, so like I haven't had to even really pay for it. So it's been good. I'm glad I read some books, and here we are now. The next book I will be reading is Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn. I've been like so excited to read this one, and I'm going to read it. That's my next read, and let me know if you want me to do another vlog where I am reading this one, because I really enjoyed making this vlog. I doubt a lot of people are gonna watch it, but if you did watch it, thank you so much. Leave a comment on what you've been reading. If you've read any of these books, I would really appreciate it. It makes me really happy to see a comment, and just to know that I'm not talking to a void. There's people out there and they're listening, so it's just really cool. And thank you so much to everyone that decided to click on this video. I really appreciate it, and I hope y'all have a good day. I have to pack because I'm going to a wedding in Maryland, which is really random. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like it, comment down below, have a good day, please subscribe, and make sure to follow all my social medias, which are linked down below, and go click the bell button, which is right by the subscribe button, so you can always be notified when I post a new video. I'm not used to doing that anymore. And goodbye.